Welcome to Farming Aid. In the world of poultry farming, two paths stand out for farmers and entrepreneurs: raising broilers for meat or layers for egg production. Both offer exciting opportunities, but each comes with its own set of advantages, challenges, and potential for profit. If you're wondering which option is more profitable or better suited for your goals, you're not alone. It's a decision that can shape the future of your farming journey. In this video, we'll dive deep into the world of broiler and layer farming, comparing everything from investment costs and profit margins to market demand and long-term sustainability. Whether you're just starting out or looking to expand your poultry business, understanding the differences between broiler and layer farming could be the key to maximizing your success. Let's get started. When it comes to poultry farming, one of the biggest and most common debates among beginners and even experienced farmers is whether to raise broilers or layers. Both options offer unique opportunities for profit, but they also come with different challenges, investments, and time frames for return on investment. Broiler farming, focused on raising chickens primarily for meat production, has often been viewed as a quicker path to earnings, as broilers grow rapidly and can be sold in as little as 5 to 8 weeks. On the other hand, layer farming involves raising chickens for egg production, a longer-term commitment but one that provides a steady and continuous stream of income for a much longer period. Deciding between broiler and layer farming is not just about looking at how fast you can make money, but also about understanding the nature of the business, the risks involved, the market demand, and how much capital and time you are willing to invest. Broiler farming is often considered attractive because of the short production cycle. You invest today, and within a few weeks, you are ready to harvest your flock and make money. The turnaround is quick, allowing farmers to cycle multiple batches in a year. In theory, you can raise and sell 6 or more batches annually if you manage your operations efficiently. This makes broiler farming highly appealing for those who are looking for faster cash flow and rapid business growth. Furthermore, the demand for chicken meat globally continues to rise, fueled by increasing populations and a shift toward affordable sources of animal protein. Meat consumption is growing faster than almost any other agricultural product, and broiler farming sits right at the center of that boom. However, it's not all positive. Broilers require intensive care, good feed, and strict biosecurity measures because they are more vulnerable to disease outbreaks due to their fast growth rates and high stocking densities. The slightest mismanagement can lead to high mortality rates and wipe out an entire investment within days, so while the profits can be impressive, the risks are equally substantial. Layer farming, in contrast, requires a different kind of mindset. Raising layers for egg production is a longer journey. Typically, it takes about 18 to 20 weeks before layers start laying eggs, and once they do, they can continue laying consistently for about 72 to 80 weeks depending on the breed and how well they are managed. This means that while the initial waiting period might feel slow compared to broilers, once the eggs start coming, they create a consistent and relatively stable income stream. Eggs are a daily product. Every morning brings a fresh batch that can be sold almost immediately to eager consumers, hotels, supermarkets, and local markets. This steady cash flow can be comforting for farmers who prefer predictability over the roller coaster of broiler farming. Moreover, in many regions, the demand for eggs is almost as high as, if not higher than, the demand for meat because eggs are a staple in many diets, offering an affordable source of protein for households across all income levels. Another factor to consider when comparing broiler and layer farming is the space and infrastructure requirements. Broilers require a high-quality housing system but only for a short duration per cycle. After the broilers are sold, the housing can be cleaned, disinfected, and prepared for the next batch. Layers, however, require a more long-term housing solution because the birds are kept for over a year, meaning the poultry house must be built sturdier with proper laying nests, perches, and ventilation to maintain the birds' health and productivity over the long term. This adds an extra layer of initial capital investment for layers, making it slightly more expensive to start, but again, the ongoing egg production can offset those initial costs over time if properly managed. Feed cost is another crucial dimension in the profitability discussion. Both broilers and layers require high-quality feed, but broilers consume feed voraciously over a short period to maximize weight gain. This results in a sharp feed cost spike every few weeks. Layers, in contrast, consume less feed per day compared to broilers, but because they are kept for longer periods, the cumulative feed cost becomes substantial. Thus, understanding your feed management system, sourcing affordable but nutritious feed, and reducing wastage are critical whether you are raising broilers or layers. Profit margins also differ depending on market fluctuations. Broiler prices can be highly volatile. One moment, the market is booming, and broiler prices are high, bringing in massive profits. The next, prices could crash, especially if there is an oversupply, disease scare, or sudden government regulation changes. Many farmers have faced losses when broiler prices unexpectedly dropped during harvest time. Layers, being egg producers, face slightly less volatility. While egg prices do fluctuate, they tend to be more stable compared to meat prices. Even during economic downturns, people continue buying eggs because they are an affordable source of nutrition. This makes layer farming a slightly more recession-proof business compared to broiler farming. Labor is another element to analyze. Broiler farming can be labor-intensive but for a short, intense period. Workers are needed to manage broilers carefully, feeding, watering, cleaning, and monitoring health conditions daily, and all of this effort is condensed into several short weeks per batch. Layer farming requires continuous labor every day for over a year, collecting eggs daily, grading them, packing them, treating sick birds, cleaning the facilities, and monitoring feed and water. Some farmers argue that managing layers is more tedious over the long run, requiring a higher level of consistency and commitment compared to broilers, where labor efforts are intense but temporary. Disease management also shifts the profitability scales. Broilers, as mentioned, grow rapidly and are susceptible to diseases such as coccidiosis, Newcastle disease, and respiratory infections. A disease outbreak can spread like wildfire in broiler pens due to high stocking densities and young immune systems. Preventative measures, vaccinations, and biosecurity protocols are non-negotiable in broiler farming. Layers are equally susceptible to diseases, but because they are managed over longer periods, farmers often implement more extensive vaccination programs, strict hygiene routines, and regular health checks to minimize the risk. The longer lifespan of layers means that any health issues can accumulate over time, impacting productivity and profit if not managed properly. Another overlooked but important aspect is waste management. Poultry farms produce substantial amounts of waste, and how it is handled can either become an additional source of income or a major problem. Broiler farming generates manure that can be sold as organic fertilizer, but because broiler cycles are shorter, waste generation is in large, sharp bursts. Layers, meanwhile, produce manure consistently every day for over a year, and this manure is highly valued by vegetable farmers. Some layer farms even earn extra income selling poultry manure, creating an additional revenue stream that broiler farms might struggle to maintain as consistently. In terms of market access, broilers often require cold chain logistics if you want to sell beyond local markets, especially in urban centers where quality standards and freshness are critical. Layers give farmers the advantage of selling fresh eggs daily without much need for refrigeration in many regions. Eggs can be packed, transported, and sold with relatively simpler logistics, especially in rural and semi-urban areas, where fresh eggs are a daily necessity. This logistical difference can heavily influence a farmer's profitability depending on their location, infrastructure access, and market networks. When it comes to scalability, broiler farming arguably offers faster scaling potential because of its short cycle. You can quickly assess what worked and what didn't, improve, and scale up operations with each successive batch. Layers, because of the long commitment per flock, make scaling a slower and riskier process. If you miscalculate the market demand for eggs, face prolonged disease issues, or mismanage feed costs, it could take a long time to recover losses with layers compared to broilers, where the quick turnover provides more chances to adjust strategies. From an investment point of view, broiler farming might seem more beginner-friendly because the startup capital needed per batch is often lower compared to the initial setup cost for a layer farm. However, sustaining broiler farming requires careful cash flow management because feed must be purchased, veterinary care must be provided, and facilities must be maintained batch after batch. In contrast, while layer farming requires a heavier upfront investment, once the birds start laying, the consistent daily income can provide a more predictable cash flow that can stabilize and support future expansion plans. When evaluating overall profitability, it is clear that both broiler and layer farming can be highly profitable if done correctly. Broilers offer faster returns but with higher market volatility and disease risks. Layers provide a slower start but potentially more consistent and stable income over a longer period. Ultimately, the choice between broilers and layers should depend on the individual farmer's goals, resources, and risk tolerance. If you prefer quick turnovers, can manage market risks, and have the capacity to respond fast to changes, broiler farming might be your best bet. If you prefer a steady, reliable income, are patient, and are ready to invest in a longer-term project, then layer farming may be the more profitable and sustainable choice for you. Successful poultry entrepreneurs often diversify by running both broiler and layer operations simultaneously, balancing the fast cash flow of broilers with the steady income of layers, creating a more resilient and profitable business model. No matter which path you choose, understanding the nuances, preparing thoroughly, and committing to continuous learning and improvement are the real keys to success in poultry farming. At the end of the day, both broiler and layer farming offer great opportunities for profit, but the best choice really depends on your goals, resources, and business strategy. Broiler farming gives you quick returns and faster cash flow, while layer farming offers long-term, steady income with less market volatility. If you are looking for fast cycles and are ready to handle market risks, broilers might be your best option. But if you prefer consistent daily income and are patient enough to wait for your birds to start producing, layers could be the smarter investment. Whichever path you choose, success in poultry farming comes down to good planning, smart management, and a willingness to learn and adapt along the way. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment our channel for more leading farming ideas. The most profitable farm is the one built with knowledge, passion, and persistence.